INDYCAR heads over to Laguna, Seca as we get ready for qualifying for the Java House Grand Prix. Let's head down to Will Buxton for qualifying, which is about to get underway on Fox Sports. Down to Will.
Well, it is finally a glorious day here in Monterey and at Laguna Seca. And with first practice this morning cancelled because of the inclement weather, because the helicopter couldn't take off with all of the cloud cover, we now have a perfect day for qualifying. But with no practice having taken place, it means that the drivers go into this qualifying session completely blind as to the changes that they've made to their cars overnight after practice yesterday. This will be a true test for the drivers of the NTT INDYCAR Series. As always, we start off with two groups, 10 minutes on track for each group. The fastest 6 from each progressive, then the fastest 12 will be whittled down to 6. And those 6 will fight it out for the honor of pole position at Laguna Seca. Will Buxton with you with Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. That is a helmet and a half. Santino Ferrucci back in action, having missed the race in Toronto with a big crash in the warm-up. But guys, this is a massive challenge. This was our fastest guy yesterday, Pato O'Ward, who won on the streets of Toronto. But as always, and as ever, the drivers like to make changes from practice 1 to practice 2. Those changes, they have not had a single lap to trial them out. For most, they will be running blind into qualifying.
I love it. Jump and land on the tightrope if you can. And for so many drivers right now, mid to late season, like this guy, Kiffin Simpson, coming off a career best finish at Toronto last weekend with a podium. Pato O'Ward, who we just saw with tremendous momentum closing down the stretch. Not just changes to the race cars between sessions, but changes to teams. I think back to Kyle Moyer joining McLaren, you know, mid-season, James, and all of a sudden O'Ward coming on strong. So people make the difference in this business. We're about to find out how much the people made a difference between first practice and now.
And what I love about what Pato O'Ward's doing right now is he's doing what he has to do. It's a massive lead that Palou has right now, but coming off the win in Toronto, fastest in practice here, this is a win-at-all-costs scenario if Pato is going to keep this championship alive.
Pato told us at the start of the weekend, I love being the underdog. Alex Palou is your championship leader, but this man is hunting him down for the honor of being crowned INDYCAR champion in 2025. What can he do in qualifying? We're about to find out here in Monterey. Well, I'm a very happy man because for the first time we've rolled to a commercial break with Extreme. So, job done. Happy days.
I'm glad it was that song.
Mate, that's one of their best. One of their best. I can't say the name because it sounds like I'm saying something rude, but I'm not. One of the greatest bands in history. One of the greatest bands in history. Anyway, Pato O'Ward, fastest in first practice yesterday. Has it all to do, but as he says, the pressure really isn't on him. He can just go out there and do what he needs to do, which is go fast, win races, have fun.
Nothing to lose because he's had a phenomenal season, couple of wins. He's got the best, worst finish on the season. He's done his job in the race car. 10 top 10s. He's completed every single lap of every race this season. That's something to be proud of. It's just that Alex Palou has had a season that we haven't seen in 60 years with 7 wins and an almost perfect job except for that DNF in Detroit that wasn't his fault. So for Pato O'Ward, yeah, underdog, but happy underdog, if you know what I mean. He's had a season to remember.
And guys, you know what it's like. You're racing drivers. Is it easier to chase or is it easier to lead?
It's easier to chase. And if you're Alex Palou right now, this is like having, you know, a 4-point lead in the basketball game with 11 seconds and you're at the free throw line. You just got to make the free throws and seal the deal. You just got to run out the clock, you know, by getting that last first down, James. And I think everything is in your mirrors right now, and that creates a lot of anxiety as a driver.
Well, that's just it. It's easier to chase, but it's better to lead. I think you want that lead. You know, when you're chasing, you only have one thing to do. Your goal is so focused just on beating the one car you've got to beat in this situation. For Palou, yeah, he's got to be looking in his mirrors. It is a harder thing to do, but you'd rather have that buffer just in case something does go wrong.
And from a temperament standpoint, nobody's better at that focused temperament of leading than Alex Palou. That's what makes it so hard for the rest of the field. The guy just doesn't make mistakes, except at Mid-Ohio.
First group of qualifying is out on track, and that is your championship leader, Alex Palou, followed by Scott Dixon, his teammate, who had a spin yesterday. Scott has won at this circuit. Alex Palou has a ridiculous record here. Joseph Newgarden in the Astemo Chevrolet spun at the top of the corkscrew. Tough job. But as they are out on their warm-up laps, Kevin Lee has found an IndyCar legend.
So I'm just walking from the booth out to pit lane, and look, who do I see? It's Spin and Win, 1985 Indianapolis 500 winner Danny Sullivan. This is your home race, two-time winner here. Always love being here, and I always see you here every year.
I love it here. We're living in Florida, but we come out for some of the summer. Happen to be here when you guys are here. It's great to walk around, see everybody, see you guys, see all the people at Fox. All good.
And one of the great things about tracks like this is, yeah, there are changes throughout the year, but still the fast way is the fast way. How do you conquer this place?
Well, that's a good question. You got to have some straight line speed, but you got to have the downforce, because this track doesn't have a lot of grip even after the repave. I think you all saw that in practice yesterday. A lot of people running off, and you got to be quick through the really quick corners. The higher speed corners more so than the hairpin. Always great to see you. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
Danny Sullivan, a two-time winner here. Both wins coming from the pole. As we ride on board with Joseph Newgarden, who had that spin yesterday and who is having not just one of the worst seasons of his career, probably the worst season of his career, given the expectations coming into the season. Everything that he expected, everything that Team Penske expected. But as always, every weekend represents an opportunity for that reset. Colton Herta, fastest on these first-time laps. Those times will, of course, drop down, and we have driver's eye on board the Gamebridge Honda with Colton Herta.
And with the driver's eye cam, you can tell Colton Herta going to the hard tire for his banker lap, where Joseph Newgarden going soft early. That's unusual. And we'll see how it plays out, because those soft tires probably good for, 2 quick laps, if that. And everybody, I think, having to figure things out on the fly, James, because of that canceled second practice. This is as tough as it gets to just try to reset, take changes overnight, and see what you got.
And what that does is it really puts an advantage to the drivers that had a good practice yesterday, that kind of rolled off the truck with a balance, with a setup they were happy with. Look, the track's going to have changed quite a bit. We saw it was quite low grip. We saw it was quite high on tire degradation. Those two things normally don't go hand in hand. Usually, if you've got a lot of grip, that's when you kind of see the tires wear as you're working them. But for drivers like Pato O'Ward, like Colton Herta, who were quick, that could really play into their hands.
There's another Penske driver, Will, going softs immediately. The Expel Chevy of McLaughlin running those red sidewall soft tires.
Ericsson to the top on 110.0. Herta about half a second behind him. That's the alt start finish line. That's where the times are red, and McLaughlin goes second fastest in the Penske. The championship challenge is on this weekend. Alex Palou had an opportunity to wrap it all up in Toronto last weekend. Didn't take it, because Pato O'Ward roared to his second victory of the season. Alex Palou and Ganassi making an uncharacteristic strategic blunder. Oh, my goodness, rear lefts almost hanging out over the gravel there.
Meanwhile, Robert Schwartzman, rookie, going to the top at a 109.5. James, that's impressive pace when you think that Pato O'Ward was quickest yesterday at a 9.2 on the soft tire.
And that's what's else is really impressive is right now him and Colton at the top there. They're on the hard tires, but third, fourth, fifth, McLaughlin, Ericsson, and Newgarden all on those softer tires. So that's legitimate pace from Schwartzman.
Great pace from Robert Schwartzman. As we were saying about Alex Palou, he's held the championship lead since the very first race of the year in St. Petersburg. Had at one point what looked to be an unassailable lead with a 30-point switch around last time out in Toronto. The momentum is with Pato O'Ward. And there is no way that Alex Palou can now win the championship even this weekend. It will definitely go on to next weekend. The job for Pato O'Ward is to keep on winning. That is his objective, his modus operandi as we arrive here. Scott McLaughlin to the top of 109.2, mirroring Pato O'Ward's lap times from yesterday. It's a Penske 1-2 from Schwartzman, Ericsson, Rosenquist, and Herter with half of the session now remaining. Oh, and it's off again for Alex Palou.
We've been seeing him flirt with that gravel trap, T-Bell, a couple times out of T4, dropping half of that left rear tire off the curb, not quite enough to catch it, but that time he just got it, and right before that was happening, this is Connor Daly at the top of the corkscrew.
AM/PM livery back for this weekend. Connor Daly going in a little too hot and over the gravel on exit. That is now deemed to be cutting. The corner has been for a good 30 years now, ever since that infamous pass of Alex Zanardi on Brian Herter.
And that lap's invalidated. There's a timing loop out there where if the car transponder triggers the timing loop, it will disallow the lap. As we see Palou, turn 4, about 130 miles an hour at the exit there. That was the first time through. The second one was a much bigger off.
Does this show how much Palou knows he needs to push, the job that he knows he needs to do? As you were saying, Townsend, he doesn't often make mistakes. He made a big one in mid-Ohio. The team made a big one last time out in Toronto, and look at that. It's a fresh set of boots and straight back out again for Alex Palou. That's a guy who knows he's up against it.
Here's our guy, Christian Rasmussen, never short of a highlight. Turn 3, dropping some wheels. Oh, you see the sparking as the under tray skid plate rifled across the exit curb as Palou leaves on fresh sticker soft Firestones. Scotty Mack at a 109.20. That's equals the fastest lap of the weekend. Yesterday, Pato O'Ward did a 109.20 as well.
So just a reminder for everyone, if you are below this red cut line, the time that you're seeing right here, that's red to green to the P6 time right here. That's the transfer time. If you were in the top 6, a highlighted green box around your name means you're on a faster lap than you currently have posted. So just keep an eye on that pylon as everybody out now for their second and final run of Q1 Group 1 tries to see who can transfer to the top 12.
McLaughlin starts a push lap, and we think that their first lap will be a push lap this weekend. Such is the short life of the soft tire on this incredibly grippy track.
Do we think McLaughlin's on his second set of softs? Because he's P1 at a 109.2. I think I might sit and save a set. Or is he still on the original set right here? What our data tells us, says 1 lap on this set, James, right now. So I think he's doing 2 rounds of softs. Great to transfer, but not great, Kevin, if you get to the fast 6 and are short a sticker set for pole.
And Townsend, I think this strategy for both McLaughlin and Newgarden shows the urgency of just let's first make sure we get out of Q1. Speaking specifically about Newgarden, yes, we know he's had a lot of bizarre bad luck this season, but they really haven't had the pace, or at least not have been able to execute in qualifying. 9 rotor street courses. He has been bounced in Q1 5 of those 9 times. He has only 1 Firestone Fast 6 appearance, so I think certainly for Newgarden, that's what they want to do. They're going to use 2 sets of softs here just to make sure they at least get to round 2.
Colton Herter is improving on his lap.
So the data says that they went red, and the onboard video will confirm. So as fast as they are, James, right now, I think they had a chance to bail on that strategy. But I think, like Kevin reported, they're just nervous based on the luck they've had this season. Like, let's just make sure we get to the top 12.
And he's improving already with the fastest time. Scott McLaughlin with the green band around his name. Improving already on a 109.2. Joseph Newgarden, our second fastest driver.
But if you look down
on his,
you look down here right now, you've got 2 cars improving to get into the top 6, but I don't know that McLaughlin needs to use them. Better safe than sorry.
Better safe than sorry, especially at a track position, kind of track like Laguna Seca. And, you know, at the same time, this is also telling us teams are thinking this is going to be a hard race, so they're not too worried about burning more softs in qualifying.
No, but I'll bet you if McLaughlin makes the Fast 6, he'll be telling us, oh, I wish we had a sticker set to go for pole.
Yeah. Rinus VeeKay almost half a second to the good as he comes down through the corkscrew. This will be enough to transfer him, but you look at everybody down there from 7th down to 12th with the green against their name, with the improvement coming, and he does jump up into 3rd place. What's Newgarden got? 109.3 remains his best, and for Alex Palou, it is the fastest time of the session so far, and the first 1:08 that we've seen this weekend at Laguna Seca. Ericsson now up to 3rd.
That's why Penske went soft. That 9.2 now at risk, absolutely. Look at Newgarden on the bubble. Newgarden just got bumped out. There goes Scott Dixon across the line. He will not make the top 6 there. He'll get one more shot.
Newgarden's on a lap, so is Rinus VeeKay. Rasmussen just flirting with that transfer time, less than a tenth, less than half a tenth right now as he goes up, not quite enough, but 3 drivers tracking to bump their way in.
I'm not sure if McLaughlin is going to make the line before the time runs out. He's not. We're down to 0. Laps will count. This lap will count for Scott McLaughlin, 108.9. The best that he's done so far over the night. He doesn't improve. One driver who is Joseph Newgarden. So too Scott Dixon. So too Rasmussen. Rasmussen up by a large chunk, and Connor Daly up and now down. It's very, very tight for them all. Newgarden rising up through 10.
Yes, P5.
P5 is going to be tight again.
So Newgarden in for now. Look at Rasmussen, though. Rasmussen 0.2 seconds up. Rosenqvist improves to 2nd. Here is Rasmussen on a charge. He's been so exciting to watch this weekend, running up the hill into the corkscrew, the most vital corner on this circuit to get right.
Oh, nailed it. That was a great run down the hill.
Rasmussen to transfer. It's going to be hundredths of a second. Now it's a tenth of a second. Christian Rasmussen jumps up to 3rd.
Nice job, P3.
That was beautiful. He had traffic, too, with Schwartzman. Not immediately in front of him, James, but close enough to disrupt the air. But his run through the corkscrew was sensational.
It was a 4-wheel slide in that first left-hander, and he just caught it beautifully down the hill. And it was so close for the 5 of the 6 drivers within the same 10.
So Palou, Rosenqvist, Rasmussen, Lundgaard, Herta, and Newgarden make it through, but out goes McLaughlin, out goes Dixon. We know Dixon's not necessarily a fan of this track, although he's won here. Good run from Jacob Abel, 21st.
Yeah, only 1/10 of a second off Scott Dixon. I mean, that's an impressive run there. But, guys, I look to the top 6 cars. Look at these lap times. You got Palou almost in his own world at a 108.6, 108.8, 88, 88, 88, 88. It's half a tenth from 2nd to 6th place. Unbelievably tight at the sharp end of this field.
And I was completely wrong about Newgarden and McLaughlin. They absolutely needed that 2nd run to pull it off. That 9.2 would be nowhere close to transferring. And you have to wonder, what was the tire usage up and down the grid? What might we see right now? Let's check it with Kevin.
So the only one that advanced that used 2 sets of softs, Joseph Newgarden. McLaughlin, Schwartzman, and Ericsson were the others that started on softs and used 2 sets.
Okay. Well, there is Joseph Newgarden. We'll be happy to make it through this part of qualifying. That hasn't always been the case in what has been a very trying year for the 2-time IndyCar champion. But Palou looked to be a little on the edge there. Had to pull one out. He did with the fastest time, 108.6. But yeah, Hinch, you're absolutely right. 2nd to 6th, all 108.8s. McLaughlin a 108.9. Incredibly tight out there.
You know, 2/10, not a huge gap necessarily, but the fact that Palou has that gap over 2nd and then 2nd through 6th is half a tenth, it does make it look a little more impressive, doesn't it?
6 different teams from those 6 drivers that advance. Ganassi, Mayashank, McLaren, and ECR, Andretti, and Penske. Ericsson, though, goes no further. P15 for him on the grid. Pato O'Ward is in the mix for the title. 32 podiums since 2020. A 2-time Indy 500 runner-up. Don't remind him about that. 9 career wins. And there he is, waiting to head out. Can he repeat his practice 1 form? One driver who's out, unfortunately, Scott McLaughlin, standing by with Kevin.
Actually, with
Jack.
me, Will, this one. Yeah, that's okay. Jack's taking it. Scotty didn't get to do the second practice. Did that impact your qualifying a little bit?
I mean, slightly. It's safe for everyone, Jack. But, you know, the XPAL Chevy yesterday, we sort of rolled off a little bit out of the window. Threw a lot of changes at it this morning, but a genius decided to say 8:30 for practice. So not going to run, unfortunately, but yeah, same for everyone. So we made some improvements. We just missed out. But yeah, it's frustrating, but you know, I'm glad that we made some improvements there, and we'll be better here tomorrow.
Thanks, Scotty. G.
Marcus Harrison just missed out transferring by over 0.2 of a second. Where do you think the difference could have been made?
I think having a practice yesterday would have helped. We had an issue, so we just had to run not representative with our fuel because of it. So that was hurting us going into today, especially with the morning practice rained out. You know, we were a bit blind going into this one. Still think the car was fast. The live car was really fast, but just needed a little bit better execution, I think, on my part. I think the time is there in the car, but not the cleanest of laps when I needed it, so that's frustrating. It's definitely, you know, 2:10s, and we're right there with the whole group that's transferred, so it's small margins, it always is in IndyCar these days, but yeah, pretty frustrating with that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks to Georgia and to Monterey Jack. Nice. Thanks. On board with Pato O'Ward. Great to have the driver's eye back this weekend. His objective this weekend is quite simply just beat Alex Palou. Sounds simple, but 2025 has proven that is one of the most difficult things in international motorsport.
And look, he doesn't just need to beat Palou. He needs those big points gaps, the big points margins that come from winning down to second, third, fourth. He needs to win races. He needs Palou outside the top 5 if he's really going to start making some headway and try to bring this thing down to a shootout in Nashville in a few weeks' time. But so far, he's doing everything he needs to do for the last few weeks, winning in Iowa, winning in Toronto. Let's see if he can get the job done here in qualifying.
All he can control is what's immediately in front of him. Steering wheel and pedals. It's all you got to work with. The rest, it's going to happen like it's going to happen. And the energy I get from Pato O'Ward, talking to him yesterday, is one of happiness and at ease with the way the world is right now. I'm going to do my job. The chips will fall where they may. He wants to win. He knows he's capable of doing that. His team has momentum. If Palou makes one little mistake, like what we saw at Mid-Ohio, or the strategic bad luck that they had at Toronto, it's game on.
He's having arguably his best ever season in IndyCar. Pato O'Ward, speaking to him after his first win of the season in Iowa, he admitted that the first half of the season for him had been quiet by his usual standards. There hadn't been those big headline moments. But he was aiming for consistency. He was aiming to just get it done, not necessarily be the headline. It feels like over the last couple of weekends, he's come out swinging, and that old Pato is back. And it's great to see him hustling the car around this Laguna Seca circuit. Louis Foster jumps up to 6th. Rahal is your fastest driver at the moment. Then Power, Malukas, Armstrong, Callum Ilott, and Kyle Kirkwood. O'Ward, though, a hefty 7/10 up, so too Louis Foster. And we know that Rahal go well on road courses. They were hoping that this weekend would be a better one for them after their difficulties that they've experienced on both the ovals and the street courses. But worth mentioning that the Rahals of Graham and of Louis Foster qualified brilliantly last time out in Toronto. They seem to have unlocked something on street circuits.
but the team so confident when they arrive at road courses, and with good reason. Graham Rahal improving to a 109.7. What's Louis Foster got as he comes over the line? Foster improves to second. It's an RLL 1-2.
This guy's delivered marvelous rookie year performances in qualifying. The issue's been converting those to race results, but Louis Foster and his teammate Graham Rahal appear to have pace again.
Yeah, the time showing for Rahal isn't correct. It's a 109.721 at the moment. Ferrucci jumps up to third. It's Armstrong fourth. O'Ward is now fifth. Kirkwood is now sixth. And Devlin DiFrancesco makes it an RLL 1-2-3. A great run for him as Simpson, podium sitter last time out, jumps up to the provisional fastest time.
Right now, everybody in the top 6 is on those softs. You see Santino Ferrucci's on him as well. This guy here, though, top of the charts in a minute, coming off that podium.
Power crosses the line and goes sixth. And a replay here of him going just a touch wide and just a touch slippery.
This is eerily similar to what we saw from Rossi yesterday in practice. Difference just being Rossi's car hooked to the right, put him into the wall.
That was like an oval save.
Yeah.
I mean, that barely worked out for Will Power. Great job with his hands. Could have been a massive crash.
Louis Foster already has one pole position to his name in his rookie season in IndyCar. He is now the target time, a 109.4 for him. Power is improving, so too Kirkwood. Ferrucci, Armstrong as Malukas jumps up to P1, and his teammate Ferrucci goes P2.
Kirkwood not improving when you're dropping wheels there off of turn 3. You heard the floor just bottoming out there on that curb as we see one of the
spin up.
Yeah, it's a Devlin DiFrancesco. That's bottom of the corkscrew, I think. That's heading into turn 9.
It is.
Let's see what happened. Oh boy.
Just too much throttle when the right rear was on the green paint there, and it just snapped around on him. He's on the soft tire.
And this is Marcus Armstrong going wide and clattering over the curbing on the exit of the corkscrew.
I imagine that would lead to a deleted lap for Armstrong. There's a timing line on the inside of the right-hand portion of the corkscrew that if you trip, it's considered an off-track, a shortcut, and the lap is deleted. It's a black and white thing. It's not about cameras looking at lines.
If you trip, you dip, as this is a look at Kyle Kirkwood getting half the car off on the beach at the exit of turn 3. He had to bail out of this lap. Listen here.
Just see, got on the throttle, front end just not really responding, the car not rotating on the gas, and pushed him right off the track.
And we heard from Kyle Kirkwood in what was a cancelled practice session this morning, explaining that this circuit is very much back to the way it was 3 years ago, before the repave. If you get offline, it's incredibly treacherous. There are patches around this circuit where it's extremely grippy, but as your fronts grip, the rears get loose. Then the rears pass over that grippy part of track, and the rears grip and the front becomes loose. It's so difficult to find the right line around this circuit and to know what your car is going to do. It's threading a fine line here at Laguna Seca. Fresh tires on for everybody. Back out, less than 4 minutes on the clock in this second group. The fastest 6 advance to the top 12. It's Malukas from Simpson. Ferrucci is third, then Foster and Rahal. Stingray Rob up to 6th fastest. Sit on board with Stingray Rob, courtesy of Goodhart, as he leaves the pit lane. And look for those black patches out on track, just there, past one on the left-hand side. Those, the extra grippy parts of the circuit that are causing so many headaches for these drivers.
On these softs is Stingray Rob, the Goodhart on board. But it's all about finding that gap. So important here.
Yeah, your team can be so effective at helping you. As a driver, you see that one car, Kippen Simpson up ahead, maybe nobody in your mirror, but you rely so much on information from the timing stand to let you know if you're able to woe things up and build a nice gap in front of you. And that's exactly what Pato Ward has right now, except for the dust out of turn 10. Somebody must have been dropping wheels. The next car ahead is the 45 of Louis Foster, so maybe he went wide.
So Ward taking another build lap. Everybody biding their time now, putting some temperature into these soft tires. Trying to find that grip and go for the ultimate push lap with 2 minutes left on the clock.
Kind of seems like out, prep, push, push. It's the ideal way to do it, but I'm not sure you can get a second push lap out of these softs. Just exactly what you want. You want to challenge the teams and the drivers to get it done in one.
Callum Ilott, the first driver going for the ultimate push lap. There he is in the Prema. We pick him up as he rides past the team's hospitality unit on the inside of turn 3, running down now into 4. Made it through into the top 12, I should say. Last time out in Toronto, felt he was held up multiple occasions, felt he should have started higher. He finished in a season high of P8 1 week on from the team's previous best result of a P9. Things starting to improve for Prema in their first season in IndyCar.
Car looks phenomenal. Ilott looking very comfortable, hustling. Great minimum speed through that sequence of corners. This is an awesome shot with the drone. A little too much of a wiggle. That was like DiFrancesco there. He'll lose time accelerating out of the corkscrew. Comes to the line.
Lost maybe a 10th and a half, but it's good enough for 5th as things stand. Will it be good enough to progress? Will Power also on a great lap, and that takes him up to 2nd. So David Malukas leads from the driver that many expect may be replaced by David Malukas next season at Team Penske.
Spoke to Alex Rossi, who we were on board with just a moment ago. He, of course, had that accident in practice. Didn't contribute to the accident, but said he did have an issue with the braking system in practice, so didn't get everything he wanted out of that session. Trying to rebound now, having practice been canceled this morning.
Hey guys, we're not seeing lap times nearly as quick as what we saw with Group 1 right now. Armstrong looks to be on a good one, and O'Ward, but they're not in the 8s like the other guys.
O'Ward to the top, 109.079. With his lap already completed, and he's improving once again. He will have another run at it, sitting on board with Kirkwood now. But Kirkwood sits still, down in 13th place. Alexander Rossi is improving. He's around a 10th better. Checkered flag is out. Times will count. Rossi down the corkscrew. One final chance with the double left-hander, and he's dropped down. I don't think this is going to be good enough now for Rossi. It's not. It's only good enough for 7th.
7th for now. Still lots of drivers behind him going faster, including Rahal, who bumps himself in, and Ferrucci out.
Kyle Kirkwood watching him there in 13th. He is up almost 2/10, so tracking good enough.
What about Louis Foster? I mean, it's hundredths of a second for him. Nip and tuck. Will he make it in? Louis Foster. He's suddenly gone green. He's suddenly found time, and he's suddenly 5th. Pato O'Ward improves to a 108.7. What can his teammate Nolan Siegel do?
Oh, Siegel had it, but he had a bobble in the corkscrew, and that will make the difference. I think he was on track to transfer. He'll go 8th. Here comes Kirkwood.
2/10 and a little wobble. Has he lost the time? And he has. He's lost all the time. He was up 2/10 of a second, but the mistake on the exit of the corkscrew and the run down through 9 and into 10. Game over for Kyle Kirkwood.
2nd through 6th would not have transferred in Group 1, but Pato O'Ward would have been 2nd to Alex Palou. So those are the players this weekend.
Wouldn't you know it? The 2 guys fighting for the championship top their groups. Palou for Group 1, Pato O'Ward, Group 2. Wow, Kyle Kirkwood had it until he didn't. Almost a quarter of a second.
Yeah,
good.
pretty big mistake there. He'll be frustrated because that happened at Toronto as well. In the start of that lap with that big slide there, it's oversteer that's getting them in these critical moments.
Now that was in the Firestone Fast 6, so the worst he was going to start was outside of row 3, which he did. Here though,
18th.
Man, he is going to be absolutely kicking himself for that small mistake, last corner essentially of the timed lap. But yeah, you could just see the kind of despondence in the body language there. That's going to be a hard one to recover from.
Graham Rahal will be happy. He's through. So too his teammate Louis Foster. Another impressive qualifying performance from the RLL duo. Great in Toronto. Great again here at Laguna Seca. Will Power advances. Malukas advances. Marcus Armstrong. Both Meyer Shanks are through. Once again, showing impressively well. They're both in the top 10 in the championship. Great season for both. And Marcus in particular on an absolute streak. So the 12 through Palou and Pardo. That's a squirrel, not a jackalope. I thought a jackalope was an invented thing yesterday, and sure enough, I was fed off information. A jackalope is an invented thing. Doesn't exist. It was a jackrabbit. It was a mythical creature. That's not a mythical creature. That's a squirrel. Rosenquist and Armstrong, they both finished P2 in their groups. There you go, jackrabbit, not a jackalope.
I'd like to see this sucker qualify. Put him on a set of softs.
He'd get into the top 12. It's easy.
Is Jackrabbit another new nickname for Harvey?
Might as well be. I mean, he's
got a lot of them now.
Yeah.
Monterey Jack, Jack, Hollywood Harvey.
Jackrabbit, Jackalope.
When he's on the TV screen, he's Jack in a Box.
Jack in a Box.
Alex Palou, he has won the Indianapolis 500.
Pato Award, he'll leave it all out on the racetrack.
Pato Award wins at Iowa. The run continues. Alex Palou will take the victory in Iowa. For the second time in 2 weeks, Pato Award will win the championship. It's game on.
It really is game on. Here's the points comparison. We're down to double digits, 99 with 4 to go. That 30-point swing last time out in Toronto. Pato Award has the momentum. He has the belief that a miracle, as Zach Brown described it when we spoke to him Sunday morning in Toronto, is on the cards. These are your 12 drivers then who advance. Palou and Award, your championship contenders. Then the Meyer Shank duo, Rosenquist and Armstrong. Rasmussen makes it through for ECR. Malukas and Power fighting not just for the best position on the grid, but fighting for the same seat at Penske next season. Lundgaard and Herter, Foster and Rahal, and Joseph Newgarden through to the 12. Georgia.
Kyle Kirkwood does not move on. Can you tell me about your qualifying run, but more specifically the last lap?
Well, last lap, yeah, it wasn't great. And we were aiming for lap 2, and I was just stuck in traffic there. If I'm being honest, it wasn't a great gap there. Everybody was kind of backing up. Not sure what everybody else was doing. I'm sure that they were probably just on lap 3. But for us, we needed to do a lap 2, and never really got a feel for the car. And then came to the last corner and had a pretty substantial snap, and then fighting the car to keep it on track. Car's fast. Like, we definitely should transfer there. It's just few unfortunate circumstances kind of held us out from there. So, but we'll have more tires than everybody else now. I guess that's the positive we can take from it and go from there.
The strategy begins for tomorrow. Thanks, Kyle.
And there is the livery you're not going to miss this weekend. Felix Rosenquist in the Grateful Dead Meyer Shank. Interesting to hear from Kyle Kirkwood, because that lap really was good until it wasn't. But who's used what tyres? What state of play do we find ourselves in? A man who can tell us is Kevin Lee.
So we mentioned that Joseph Newgarden was the only one to advance from Group 1. 3 used 2 sets of softs in Group 2. So those in the 12 that only have 1 set left are Newgarden, Malukas, Rahal, and Foster. And from what I can see, we see Colton Herta, Will Power, Graham Rahal on used softs. I also see that Louis Foster is starting on new hard compound to begin round 2.
Okay, so that is where we sit.
It'll be interesting to see what a sticker set of the hards does compared to a used set of the softs. If these softs are going off as aggressively as we think they are, and then you've got a heat cycle on them, will a brand new set of hards maybe actually have the edge? We will find out. Georgia, what do you know?
Well, I just talked to Kara Kristalik from Firestone, and at each racetrack they do a scan of the track to see the wear and tear of the racetrack itself. And she said they were actually surprised with the wear on this racetrack. It's only 2 years old since the repave, but she said it's looking upwards of 8 years old. So a pretty big gap from what it should look like only being 2 years old. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and maybe you guys can dissect it a little bit more, and maybe that makes sense on why we're seeing some wear and tear on these tires.
Is that Benjamin Button syndrome? It's young, but it looks old.
Yeah, but I don't think it's getting younger. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to deteriorate. Racetracks rarely go the other way.
Let me share a theory with you.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
California.
Buckle up, everyone.
In California, we have mandates for low VOC in all kinds of substances.
VOC.
Like paint. It's a chemical level for things like sealers for decks. You can't buy certain sealers in California that you can get in the rest of the country. Is there a chance that there is a more aggressive environmental requirement for asphalt standards in California where the tar is actually wearing quicker than it would at Road America, you know, or Mid-Ohio? I'm going to look into this because...
Please do.
This is something
because this
that
is the kind of stuff that folks really want to hear about.
Well, I've been learning to live with this, you know, in other ways, and it could be that it just ages much quicker because it's VOC friendly.
I can't wait. Tonight, it is baseball night in America, and it's showtime as Shohei Ohtani leads the Dodgers against the Red Sox, or the Guardians take on the Royals. Check local listings for the game in your area. Tonight at 7 Eastern on Fox. Well, welcome back to Monterey. Welcome back to the glorious Laguna Seca circuit, WeatherTech Raceway. We are down to 12. Those 12 are Joseph Newgarden and David Malukas, Pato O'Ward and his teammate Christian Lundgaard, Alex Palou, Will Power, Graham Rahal and Christian Rasmussen, Colton Herta, Louis Foster, Felix Rosenquist and his teammate Marcus Armstrong. There is your championship leader, Alex Palou. Trying to take this thing out of the conceivable reach of Pato O'Ward, but O'Ward was the fastest in practice. O'Ward has 2 wins in 2 weekends. The momentum seems to be with the McLaren man. But, and it's a big but, Alex Palou was the fastest driver in that first part of qualifying. How will we go for the 12th? Impressive once again from RLL on a road course to get both drivers up there into the top 12. Impressive again from Mayashak. Impressive as well from Christian Rasmussen, a guy you cannot take your eyes off no matter the type of circuit, back up in the top 12.
What will he give us this session, Rasmussen?
Another heart attack.
It's been nothing but high-performance theater through practice 1 and round 1 of qualifying for Rasmussen. He's coming on strong mid-season. If he can make it to the Fast 6, I think that'd be his first appearance on a road or street circuit. It looks to be on. He did that 1:08.8 lap in round 1, and it was squirrely, James. If he tightens things up, maybe he'll give Palou and O'Ward a run for their money.
Does he want to tighten it up?
No.
I mean, he drives fast and loose. Like, I don't think you could describe his car as ever being tight. It's loose everywhere.
He's just so comfortable on the ragged edge.
And even when he oversteps it, it doesn't phase him or make him back off at all.
I was talking to Kyle Kirkwood about this guy this morning, and I said, have you seen Rasmussen? He's been like a, you know, regular highlight film for us. He goes, do you have any idea what he's like to follow on an oval? It's terrifying.
You think you're watching a crash in progress at all times, but he just manages to keep it together. One of the most exciting drivers to watch around an oval in the IndyCar series, and he's kind of bringing that same flair to Laguna.
He is everywhere he goes. He won the Indy Lights title here. Loves this circuit. So too does Colton Herter, who is the fastest driver at the moment, as Pato O'Ward jumps up to the top. But Herter went wide at the corkscrew, so his lap is invalidated and taken away from him. So it's O'Ward at the top on a 1:11.8.
Does that damage the front wing? I mean, look at this contact as it kind of levels back out right here.
Yikes.
It flexes it quite a bit. I mean, it looks obviously still intact, but is there a minor issue with it? Is there a minor fracture maybe? Does it rob him of a little bit of performance moving forward? I wonder if it's worth for the team to just swap that thing out when he comes in for his second set of tires.
Herter, 2 pole positions at this circuit, 2 wins from the pole as well. Absolutely adores this place, as of course did his father. One here in 98, one here in 99.
A lot of green on that pylon, guys. Top 6 all on faster laps as well. Everyone from 7th down is on a lap faster than what Armstrong is currently sitting on in 6th, as we see her to jump to the top on the used softs.
Ray Holdo, 2/10 better.
So O'Ward, who we drive on board with now, again, he is on those black sidewalled hard tires. Fastest driver on that compound. Again, that time not being shown correctly on the pylon. It's a 1:10.4.
Rosenquist jumps up to 5th. Only Malukas and Power down there on the soft tyre. As Power jumps up to 3rd. Almost everyone else on the hard. Rahal, Herter, Power, and Malukas on the soft tyre. Everybody else on the hard tyre.
One of the big challenges for these drivers when you start this second session, if you're going back to a set of hards for your banker laps, or even if you're on a used set of softs at a track that's as hard on tires as Laguna is, the balance and the grip level changes so much. So you go out for those banker laps, you get a feel for what the balance is, what the grip level is. You come on, bolt on a fresh set of softs, and you've got to really lean on that experience from Q1, where the grip is, how much more speed you can roll at the apex, how much earlier you can get to throttle, and flipping that switch is a real challenge here.
One driver who's been able to do it, Colton Herter, already into the 1:09s, 1:09.350. There is Alex Palou, the championship leader, who jumps up to 3rd on the hard tire.
So question now, Colton Herter just did 9.3. Was that used reds?
Yes.
So, I said this yesterday, is there a chance that this becomes a red race? Simply because the tire's faster and both tires appear to be wearing quite aggressively. So would you just take a faster tire that has the same trajectory of wear rate? I think there's still a question. I say it's unlikely, but I wouldn't rule it out for warm-up this afternoon.
Exactly, until we get to that newly scheduled warm-up at 4 p.m. local time here in California to really get a sense of how many laps at that pace can these softs sustain. That's going to be the real telltale. I would also be surprised if it ends up being a soft race, but stranger things have happened. I love that livery on the number 60 of Felix Rosenquist, the Grateful Dead SiriusXM collaboration. Doesn't matter where you're sitting at Laguna Seca, you can spot that car from a mile away. And right now, she's fast.
Yeah, really fast.
Felix, been on the podium here before, started inside of row 2. That's his best start, 3rd position twice. He's done that.
Loves this place.
He does. He's so good at these natural terrain road courses. You know, he showed up to INDYCAR as a rookie, I think back in 19, and immediately impressed on this type of circuit. He's grown to be very good at the other types that we race on in INDYCAR as well, but from the get-go, this was the kind of track you would circle for Felix Rosenquist to be a standout, especially on a Saturday.
Townsend, you talked earlier about how important people are. Alex Palou's people have put him out with a clear track ahead of him. Almost everybody else bunched up behind drivers that they may catch as they push for their fast times. Pato O'Ward's coming up behind David Malukas and Armstrong and Louis Foster. He's got Colton Herter just behind him, but Alex Palou has almost a third, over a third of this racetrack to himself to play with.
It's not by accident. Barry Wanzer and the Chip Ganassi crew on the 10 car, been together for many years now. They understand all of the little details that go into a race weekend winning performance, including something as simple as finding a clean piece of racetrack and back timing your driver release to achieve that more than anything, because they know, we talked about this earlier, they know that they need to just have solid weekends to run out and win a championship, and the way that you avoid big mistakes or big issues is by taking the high probability decisions for things like getting your driver clean track, even at the expense of being the last one to do a lap. Just don't make any big mistakes.
Foster then starts his run on the run down to turn 2. As we watch Alex Palou, who is on the rise into the corkscrew and will begin a push lap momentarily. We pull back to Louis Foster, who is now almost half a second up. This impressive young man from Odium in the United Kingdom, his first season in the NTT INDYCAR series, the reigning Indy Next champion. For those of you new to INDYCAR, that's like the Formula 2 championship for INDYCAR. Desperately impressive. Already has one pole position in his pocket this year for the RLL team, which really comes to light on road courses.
It's a good lap. Now he was up and then suddenly down, so it looks like he's going to whoa up here and try to find a gap. 2 minutes to go, so that'll give Foster 2 timed laps in anger if he wants them.
There you go, fastest man in IndyCar history, Will Power.
Power up by 7/10. This an important lap for him to try and get into the Firestone Fast 6. Alex Palou is improving from what is at the moment the 5th fastest time. He's just coming up to the corkscrew. We'll keep you honest from Palou as we sit on board with Power again, fighting the wheel on the exit of 7.
Oh, you can hear the engine start to struggle there. He's almost just fighting a little bit of rear lock.
But that was perfect. He's up about a second. Palou goes to an 8.5, but here comes Power.
So Palou, the new fastest man, Power to P2, but 7/10 down, and Palou is going quicker again. Rasmussen is fast, 3/10 up. Lundgaard is supremely fast, and so too Joseph Newgarden. And Rasmussen into the top 6. Where's O'Ward? Currently down in 11th and not on a good lap. Newgarden makes it up to 3rd, just ahead of Lundgaard. Foster is up narrowly, and makes it to 6th.
Pato O'Ward is hanging back right now and trying to find a gap. Here he is. This is to start the lap right there. Full send right now for the number 5.
How about honorable mention to Rosenquist right now? Only driver in the same zip code as Alex Palou. As O'Ward fights a momentary oversteer in the middle of that last corner, and Palou's off in 6.
Palou is off, but it's one chance and one chance only for Pato O'Ward. And who is that that's gone off?
60.
It is Felix Rosenquist. Where is O'Ward in comparison to him?
So Rasmussen will have had to have backed off there. That was Rasmussen going through turn 5 there.
So that'll probably push Rosenquist out if he caused the local yellow.
But O'Ward critically is down 1.5 tenths. Can he make it up on the remainder of the lap? We ride with the number 5.
Here he comes,
in
down to 700ths.
He's clawing it back. It's tidy through 6. Needs to be maximum commitment up the hill on the blind crest. Under braking now. Turning in hard left. Downhill for Pato O'Ward. He's up, but only just. It's 1/10 of a second to the good for Pato O'Ward. Through the final corner. Does he progress to the far 6 by 1/4 of a second? He does. He's up to 3rd.
Now here comes Colton Herta. He's 10th, looking to bump Will Power. Herta across the line. He does it.
7, good job, P3.
Very nicely done for Colton Herta. What's Graham Rahal got? Only enough for 9th. So the RLL cars go no further. Neither does Lundgaard or Power. Neither does Armstrong or Rasmussen. But it's Alex Palou, despite an off, who progresses as the fastest driver in the top 12. Then it's Rosenquist and Herta, Pato O'Ward, Malukas. Oh, and I've just seen, has Rosenquist's time been deleted?
Well, there's the issue with Rosenqvist in turn 5.
But now watch to the left. You're going to see Rasmussen come by, so he will have had to have lifted through that section, which should, I believe by the rules, mean the fastest lap up to that point for Rosenqvist to be deleted.
It is Rosenqvist down to 12th, which means Power gets a reprieve. It's Palou, Herter, and O'Ward. Malukas, Newgarden, and Power who will go through to the Firestone Fast 6. And critically, our championship contenders are both through again in first and third. All to play for here in Laguna Seca when we return.
It's going to be tight, guys. It's going to be close.
Incredible.
You guys like an update on VOCs?
Yes, please.
So in California, rules from the California Air Resources Board require that no more than 3% VOCs, and that could be something there. There's regulation around that.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of explaining why the track is
falling
degrading so quickly.
Why don't we hear a bit of radio from Colton Herter in that session? Second quickest.
You guys are making my life really hard out here with this. We can't control people backing up into you. You know, we're in the same strategy as Malukas and Armstrong, and we let them go out in front of us. You can't do that.
Track position.
All about it.
Key.
Yeah.
Just what we were talking about with Alex Palou and Barry Wanzer. You will not hear that kind of communication really most times with the number 10 car. They think about finding their driver that clean track. So I understand Colton's frustration because it's probably not the first time that's happened to him this season. And listen, Colton's quick. It's the Herta house. This is the place where his father and Colton have dominated so many times. So Colton's probably feeling like, hey, there's no excuse. You give me clean track, we'll transfer. Just don't mess it up for me.
But to Rob Edwards' point, who was the other voice on that recording, you know, you can't predict cars backing up, so you can set them into a nice big gap. But if the cars in front of you on track are backing up, it's luck of the draw a little bit.
Is it, though, coincidence that Palou finds himself with half a lap clear in front of him?
No, I suppose it's not, especially when you consider where the two cars respectively are on pit lane. Herta right at pit out.
Like, yeah, they should see anybody coming and just send them. Let Colton be the one to back people up.
Yeah, the first car that rolls, you should just send him right in front as he comes out.
Listen, I'm partial to the California kid. Home turf, Herta house it is.
The drivers then who advance into the Firestone Fast 6. Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward are championship contenders. Colton Herta, who has 2 pole positions at this track to his name. David Malukas impressing once again. And the Penske duo, Joseph Newgarden and Will Power. One driver out, having lost his fastest time. It was all looking so good until it wasn't for Felix Rosenqvist.
Felix Rosenqvist was P2 until the local caution. First of all, what happened, and all fair in the way it's ruled?
I just spun in turn 5, went in a little hard, and couldn't save it. So, yeah, unfortunate. It's what it is. My bad.
Pace is there, though. You've got something for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're fast all quality. P2 in the first group, and we were sitting P2 there. So, yeah, it's annoying when you have the lap time and then it goes away. And seems like whenever there's penalties to be handed out, we're there to take them. So, but you can run someone off the track, and that's fine. But anyways, that's what it is. It was my bad, so I'll have to go forward tomorrow.
Thanks, Felix.
And he's the kind of driver that you expect will go forward tomorrow. Loves this track, has a rich history around here. And when you put Felix on a track he loves, expect fireworks on Sunday. As we wait for the Firestone Fast 6. Guys,
What surprised you about this? Has anything surprised you about this? Perhaps the pace of David Malukas up there in the top 6 again, as talk continues to swirl in this paddock about his immediate future for 2026. And I guess that which is inextricably linked to it, the future of Will Power, also up there in the top 6.
Yeah, interesting dynamic between these two at the moment. Power, you know, driving, I think, still incredibly well. Representing well up in the championship. Look, Penske have not had a great year, but this guy has been doing, you know, his part to keep them up there. He's the leading driver in the championship from Team Penske in 9th right now, right ahead, actually, of David Malukas in P10. Well, you see lots of rumors swirling around, but Will's doing a good job at kind of pushing it out of his head and just focusing on the job at the racetrack.
There is Malukas.
And then you got to think about it from Dave's side as well. I mean, he's sitting here not knowing what his future is. Is he switching teams? Is he coming back with Foyt? Is he getting the ultimate promotion up to Penske Racing? That's a pretty uncertain time for a young driver as well. So it's a bit of a unique situation that we've kind of found ourselves here in.
And it's fascinating thinking back 2 years to being here in Laguna Seca when it was announced that he signed for McLaren and was doing his first kind of media interviews about how much he was looking forward to 2024 and driving for Zach Brown, and then everything that unraveled with that and the position he found himself in with his injury.
For me, the big question is, if Will Power is having his last season at Team Penske, who would hire him? And I think there's several good reasons why you should and could hire Will Power, but that would be fascinating to me to see Will Power be at his first non-Penske team in, what, 18 years?
Think about bringing all of that experience, all of that speed, all that know-how. Would be an incredible free agent on the market. Time will tell. It doesn't get much more beautiful than the absolutely stunning panoramas here in California. Home, of course, to Mr. Townsend Bell. Welcome home, buddy.
And a couple of lucky dogs. That guy's huffing and puffing. He made his walk up the hill. But Central Coast of California in the summer. I mean, guys, you've been experiencing the weather. You do every year when you come here. It's your first time here.
It is
about 35-degree temperature swing, you know, from 8 a.m. this morning to where we are right now. The track surface certainly swinging about 50 degrees.
And as we see the Firestone Fast 6 drivers lined up, Pallou's got 9 appearances in the Fast 6 this year. Herta 8, Power 3, the rest all have 2. So it really is those top 2 guys we're looking at that have been dominating qualifying from the group that we're seeing here this afternoon.
Okay, folks, you know what time it is.
Firestone Fast 6.
That's right. Alex Palou, Colton Herta, Pato O'Ward, David Malukas, Joseph Newgarden, and Will Power will fight it out for pole position here at Laguna Seca. Palou has topped both of the previous sessions. The fastest times that we've seen in qualifying so far today have come from the championship leader, gunning for his 4th IndyCar title, his 3rd in a row. Can Pato O'Ward stop him? He is now realistically the only driver who can. And a great place to start that assault would be from the pole position. Colton Herta has 2 poles here. Alex Palou has 2 poles here. Nobody else in the Firestone Fast 6 has finished from P1 here in Laguna Seca. Kevin, where do we stand in terms of tires?
So there are 2 of these 6 that are out of new softs. One you're seeing right there, Joseph Newgarden. He is going to go to a used set of softs after the banker laps on a used set of hards. David Malukas is the other that's already used 3 softs. For Newgarden, that's a big jump forward. He's going to at least match his best start on a non-oval this season. That was 6th. His last 2 non-oval qualifying performances, 18th both times.
It's kind of like the strategy here from Colton Herta, which is don't even bother with a banker lap. Same thing for Pato O'Ward, and I believe Palou sitting as well. No, Palou's out on track. So for these 2 guys, Herta and O'Ward, why throw yourself off, James, with a degrading tire And look at the smoke coming out of Award. But these guys are just going to make one run on stickers. That's what they just felt on their last run. It's consistent. They know what to expect. I like that strategy going for pole.
That's power wide. Power wide on the last turn there, having to get out of the way for Palou.
And what does that do? Gives Palou completely clean track once again. Just the oil overfill on Pato O'Ward's car. It's something we've seen from him all the way through this weekend. Nothing to worry about if you are a Papaya McLaren fan. Joseph Newgarden sits ready to roll on his used softs. 6 will become 1. We're down to 5 minutes left in the session already. Still no times on the board.
And super important for Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward. Well, Pato's on track now. So for Colton Herta and Rob Edwards, the strategist, when do you send your driver? They will be studying the marching ants, the map that shows every other car on track, and make darn sure you give Colton Herta clean air to notch up another Laguna Seca pole.
Palou coming through to start his first push. We sit on board with Pato. Palou 112.4. That's it's a time, but it's not a competitive time. And Palou has allowed Will Power through. In fact, Palou's on pit lane.
So Palou just went out on those hard tires to get a lap of heat into the brakes, just make sure everything in the car was up to temperature, not do a proper run, because like you said, Townsend, you want the last thing you remember to be that sticker run from Q2. And so now the car's warm, brakes are warm, tires go on, and again, with only 6 cars on the track, I feel like 6 people can find enough of a gap on a racetrack to be happy.
Well, and I think I'd be sending Colton Herta right about now to follow Alex Palou. He's the master of finding a gap, and there we see the 26 starting to roll. So he should be able to now totally control his gap. There's absolutely nobody behind Colton Herta. He can take it easy here on this first out lap and then the prep lap, and know he's got private pavement.
Will Power taking destiny in his own hands, out on track by himself. Great lap, 110.0, but needs more, much more, if he's going to fight for the pole.
He's got a set of sticker softs waiting for him. Now O'Ward, he's getting ready to fly.
Let's ride on board with him then, see what he's got as he runs for pole position here in Laguna Seca. Tidy exit of 11. Running up the hill, needs to get the braking right on the run down into the hairpin at 2. This where you have those patches of extra grippy surface. Lovely job with that. But he's down just as he was in the last session. It was here where he started to make up the time. But 2/10 down already through the opening part of the lap.
That compression in turn 6. So many parts of this racetrack.
There he goes, gray 1.0, so that'd be an engine setting on his car right before the timing line here out of turn 9. This will be the full push now from Pato O'Ward. Tires are ready, temperatures are optimized. It's all driver now.
And it's never going to be more physical for these drivers than it is on this lap. Low fuel, new soft tires at a track that's got a lot of fast corners, a lot of banked corners. The G-force through the corner, as you see the time from O'Ward already only a few corners into the lap, massively up on Power's provisional pole.
As we head outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On the ragged edge. Pato O'Ward, 9/10 of a second up, already running through 4 and into 5.
About a third of that left rear was hanging off the turn 4 curb. That was brilliant. He's up almost a second and humping through turn 6.
But look behind at Alex Palou, who is a couple of tenths already up compared to Pato O'Ward. These two, the dominant drivers of recent races. These two, the dominant drivers of the weekend so far here at WeatherTech Raceway. O'Ward crosses the line and will have another go if he needs it. It is the fastest time, a 1:08.6, but what has Alex Palou got? He's 3/10 up as he enters the corkscrew. Needs to nail it, has to be perfect. Mr. Perfect is perfect. Through the final corner and across the line, Alex Palou will go to the top, and that is a 1:08.3. Wow.
But look at Pato O'Ward, now 2/10 off. I thought he was tracking okay, but it just started to fade. Now Colton Herta having a go.
Colton Herta having a save there. Exited turn 9 as he crosses the line. Newgarden. That was through that turn 6, so violent in that compression.
Will Power only 2/10 down on Alex Palou. Could put him ahead of Pato O'Ward. Herta is tracking well as well.
And Newgarden just doesn't have the tires. That used run is going to be tough to make it work, a 9.6. That's why the time is off. O'Ward's doing everything he can, but it's just not going to be enough this lap.
Palou is off, and he is done. Off in terms of his time, not off track. Herta is dropping as well, was only about 1/10 of a second away. But I think that will be all she wrote. Malukas cannot find the time, cannot improve. It will be Alex Palou on pole, and alongside him on the front row will be the man fighting him all the way for the championship. Colton Herta just a little bit too far off. Half a second as we come down through the corkscrew. So it will be Palou from O'Ward. Herta sits third. Newgarden actually with a brilliant job to make it up to fourth.
Great job.
On the used softs. And Power, and Malukas. But it is another pole position for Alex Palou in 2025. His 5th of the season. Pato can be happy with that. He just wanted to keep Palou in his sights. Yes, he would have loved pole position, but starting on that front row, Townsend, all important.
Yeah, and it gives him a chance to get aggressive going into that first corner down in turn 2 on the start. But Palou doing it once again. And, you know, I've said it over and over this season, Palou has brought one-lap dominant pace to his game. It makes him untouchable, frankly, in 25, James. He's got the consistency, he's got the racecraft, and when he needs a fast lap, he delivers.
I mean, fast lap's an understatement. 3/10 of a second to the good over Pato O'Ward on equal tires, equal track. That is a massive margin. And for Pato, I mean, look, qualifying hasn't been his strength this year, so huge effort from him to be up there on the front row. First front row start since Thermal, all the way back in April.
He's got momentum.
He does. He does, but still, it is a... But it's tough when
it's a great season. Right there. I mean, we keep looking at Pato's season saying, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of, except the fact the other guys won 7 races.
Yeah.
Let's go down then to speak to the man celebrating his 5th NTT P1 award of the season. Alex Palou standing by with Monterey Jack.
Alex, that was an absolute blistering final lap in the Fast 6. It looked awesome. How did it feel?
It felt amazing. Yeah, honestly, the car has been amazing. Yesterday, practice 1, and today, all practice sessions. I felt like we had a ton of pace. Like all year, honestly. Everybody at CGR has been doing a tremendous job, making me look good on track. So, yeah, feels great to be on pole here, and cannot wait for tomorrow.
Last year, you swept the weekend. Are we going to see the same again tomorrow?
I will do my best. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, to be able to put everything together on a race in INDYCAR, you guys have seen it's pretty tough, but we'll do everything that we can to try and be up top tomorrow and get that number 10 DHL Honda in P1.
Congrats, man. That is the NTT Pole Award winner, Alex Palou. G.
Jack Pato O'Ward gave it his all out there, but he's going to start on the front row. How do you strategize now, starting from that second position?
My best starting position here, we'll take that. But, yeah, Alex threw down a monster lap there, and, yeah, just happy that we had a smooth qualifying. It's been a bit of a stranger to be in the Fast 6 this year, so it's good to be back in here and, yeah, just giving it a shot for pole.
How does that change your mindset now, having such a far forward starting position?
Oh, sorry, I had some B. I mean, he's the guy we have to beat, and he's starting in front of us. So we'll see what tomorrow has in store.
Pato Awards starting on the front row.
Well, the comparisons between these two don't make easy reading for Pato O'Ward, but he was only too aware of that coming into this weekend. The average finish for Alex Palou, 1.8.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's not bad, mate.
Not terrible.
4 starts, 2 wins, 4 podiums for Pato. Just as in Toronto, he says this circuit has never been kind to him, but he starts from the front row.
Well, there we go then. We have our results and we have our qualifying action. An absolutely stellar weekend and a stellar atmosphere as well. Join us tomorrow here on JB Motorsports for the Java House Grand Prix underway live. Bye-bye.